afternoon, everybody. This is Foundations, Walnut Lodge, Volant location. So welcome, everybody. And you guys noticed that we're on the YouTube channel. That's where we're streaming. So if you haven't subscribed to us, please do that. It's really helping. We're getting closer. We need 1,000 subscriptions to make this work for all the teachers. So if you can, please subscribe and get as many people as you know to subscribe so that we can offer this service on this platform. It's way more reliable than Facebook. All right, so today, if you could have a strap or a rope and either a block or a rolled towel, and then we're going to need some kind of pillow to sit on later. We're going to use the couch. We're going to do some couch yoga at the end. So those are the props that we'll need. And these classes are progressive. So this will be adding on to some of the things that we worked on last week. So the first thing that I want you to do is just go into a child pose, but with your arms extended forward. So head down, sink into your armpits, and just take a couple of nice big inhales. And then just slide out onto your mat. So last week we worked on the upward pull of the abdominals to support the low back. So I'm going to flip sideways here. And we're going to just start with head on your forehead on your hands. And then I'm going to lift my head just so I can talk. And so we're going to press our feet into the ground. We're going to drive our sit bones into the backs of our legs. And you can see my pelvis rotating just as I do that. I'm going to push my pubic bone into the ground, lift my stomach up. And we're just going to hold this. So if I let this go, it looks like this. And if I engage everything that I want, it looks like this. So our pubic bone is pressing. Our sit bones are reaching into the backs of our legs. Our stomach is lifting. The tailbone is reaching towards the floor. You can think of it reaching towards your knees, but then feel the curve of it downward, trying to go right through the ground, somewhere between the mid-thighs. So we're breathing here in our ribs. And we're working really hard to keep this low back line. Now today, we're going to add just a leg lift to this. And so you just keep breathing here for another minute or so. We're going to try to keep the pelvis exactly where it is. And then we're going to lift the leg up off the ground, just barely an inch. And as soon as you lift the leg, you will feel the weight at the base of your sit bone. And that's just going to make it a little bit harder to hold the position. And if you just want to think about this while I'm talking, we have this system established, pubic bone pressing, this line from the pubic bone up to the rib cage, holding the curve of the back in a more supported way. And then if we lift the legs, just barely lift the legs, you can feel how the back line and the front line play back and forth. Now, if I let my back go, I'm going to rock into it. You can see that. But I'm going to reach my sit bones, lift my stomach, and just hold. You can't get your legs very high here, but that's not the point. The point is to hold the back while something is kind of dangling on it to make it a little bit harder to hold. And then we hold it for a while so you can figure out where you're going to breathe here. I'm breathing into the sides of my ribs. I'm still using my diaphragm. But because my belly is lifting up towards the spine, I'm holding my abdominals. So the expansion of the rib cage has to go somewhere else. It's not going to push the belly forward. It's going to go into the ribs. Sideways, can go up into the collarbone. So just a couple more of these. And you feel the work in the glutes and the hamstrings. Couple more breaths. And then let it go. Now, breathe into your belly. And as you do that, you'll feel your spine just move up and down. So for those of you that have low back issues, this is a really safe way to start engaging this area again. You're keeping your back position elongated, so you don't have you're trying to keep an even compression between the discs of your lower back. And that is what we're trying to do with that stomach. We're trying to keep the support there so that you don't cave into your back and make the compression on those discs more on the top side than on the bottom side, more dorsal than ventral. All right, so that is the point of that. And we're only going to do one of those today. So we're going to take it immediately into an application. All right, so that is the Sphinx posture. So just look at it from the front. We'll do the first one here. Drop your shoulders. Now, my elbow is right underneath my shoulder in this. It's not forward, it's not back. It's far enough forward so that when you relax your shoulders, you're propped. Drop your head down. Now just check in with your back. If you have low back issues, you might not feel so good even here. So what I need you to do is take your sit bones, push them into the backs of your legs, pull your stomach up, and that discomfort will go away. So for those of you that have that issue, you have to stay in this supported position with the abdominals the whole time. For the rest of us, you can let it go. It feels okay. It's not going to hurt you. It only hurts if you have some kind of herniation or some kind of pinch going on. So the rest of us, we're just here hanging out. And we're going to mobilize the shoulders. You're going to inhale, push your blades up through, push your spine up through the blades. And then exhale, drop down. Inhale, push up. Exhale, drop down. A couple more. Inhale, push up. Exhale, release. Inhale, push up. Exhale, drop the head. Inhale, push up. Exhale. As you drop, feel that head attached to the middle of that upper back. Two more. Inhale, go up. Exhale, relax the shoulder blades. Inhale, go up. Exhale, release. Now, just take your hands back. Turn your face profile to your favorite side. Let your neck relax and just breathe there a minute. So let everything go. As you inhale, push your belly normally so it'll just go into the floor. Your spine will reflect that. It'll go all the way up to the back of your neck. We're just warming up. Now keep breathing. Keep your head in profile for just one more minute. When we relax in yoga, when we're not working, we're still working. We're releasing. So your mind is constantly monitoring what you're feeling like. So as you're inhaling and exhaling, maybe you can't feel the breath in your shoulders. Maybe you're still too locked up there. So as we go through this little warm-up, keep coming back to the idea of monitoring how that breath reflects in the body. Our goal is to allow that breath to inhabit the space of your torso and your rib cage in a fluid way. So if that breath is just passing through you, obviously your back isn't tight. So it's kind of an end around, just focusing on that breath to get to the goal, which is to release the spine. All right, so pick your head back to center, coming back into the Sphinx. I'm going to turn sideways. And now we're going to just make it a little harder. So, here we are. Squash down. Push the spine up through. Now, pick your pelvis up. Stick your butt out at first. And then take your tailbone and pull the tailbone towards your face. And then as you do, try to flatten out that line. So we're not here. We're not caving into that back. We're taking the tailbone, pulling it into the rib cage, lifting the pubic bone into the spine. We have this nice flat line. Keep your shoulders pushing to the sides. Now we're just going to breathe here. Your arms might be getting tired. It's okay. Keep pushing into your back with that inhale. On the exhale, keep pulling that tailbone up into your ribs. Your belly should be working. Keep pushing. Every time you inhale, push from hands to elbows to shoulders. Send that line down to the tailbone. Exhale, pull that tailbone into the rib cage. Keep breathing. Just notice if your shoulders are getting a little tired. Couple more breaths. Is your stomach still working? Last one, inhale. And on the exhale, release your pelvis down. This time, hands back. And turn your head to the other side, profile. Coming back to the center. And just rest here. Now, check and see what your neck feels like. Is one side tighter than the other? Usually you go to the easy side first, subconsciously. And then come back center. And we're going to come up into table. But first, I'm just going to, you be in table. I'm going to sit back here and actually reach my arms forward. So when we are in our Sphinx, we're doing this motion, or this motion, pulling back and reaching forward. This is retraction of the shoulder blades, protraction. So the shoulder blades are squeezing together, and then they're going around to the outside of your rib cage. All right, now the shoulder blades are very complicated, and that's what gives us such a beautiful range of motion in the shoulder joint. They're very open, and there's problems that come with that openness, and that is that they can dislocate. They're not that strong. They're not as strong as the hip. They get tight because we are tense, and I'm adding a lot more shoulder stuff since a lot of us have to spend time on computers now. All right, so when we are in this table, fingers are wide, your hands are underneath your shoulders. So first we're just gonna rock back and forth a little bit. And what we're doing here is we're just stretching the wrist. And we're allowing our body actually to develop strength enough to hold a more open, more extended line. And what I mean by that is as you travel forward with your shoulders, the distance between the finger and the back of your arm increases. Here, it doesn't have to go across the bend of that wrist. It's almost a straight line. Here, we're at 90. Here, probably maybe 70. All right, now as we go forward, you can feel, some of you, a pain in the wrist, or you can feel like it's weak. And it's probably a little bit of both. It's painful because you don't have the range. It's painful because you're weak. So this just little rocking back and forth, it's just letting you take some weight onto the hands. My right hand is way weaker than my left. Isn't that weird? How do I know that? Well, because I can feel that I can't hold the right as much as the left. All right, couple more of these. Just forward. And this last one we're going to hold. So my elbows are straight. They're actually rotated to the outside. I'm pressing my thumb down, my index finger. I'm a little past that perpendicular, that 90 degrees. I'm pushing my chest forward, just letting that right rest enjoy this. And then walk your knees forward and sit back. Now, if you can't sit back, this is when it's nice to have a pillow or a block, because you can just sit back on your block or your pillow. We're not going to be here too long, but why I want you to sit back is because we're just going to do the opposite wrist stretch. Just push the backs of the hands together, relax the shoulders, couple breaths here. Now there's a lot of crazy arm balancing and stuff in yoga practices. And if you stay with it long enough, you will do them. The arm balances in yoga are not there because we're trying to turn people into circus performers. The arm balances are there because in order to keep a working length in a muscle, you have to work it. So stretching is not good enough. Because why have the range of motion if you can't use it? Actually, too much stretching, huge ranges of motion, cause a lot of problems. Actually, they cause more problems sometimes than being tight. What is optimal is a beautiful, open, working range of motion. And that the word there is working. So we want to be able to use the range of motion that we're working for. And the only way to do that is to work in the range that we're working at. So we increase the range, add a little weight. That means that the muscles will have to work there, and we do that over time. And then what happens? We adapt. We always adapt. And that is the good thing about humans. If you believe that, we are adaptable. Unless we decide that we're not. Then nothing's going to help us. All right. So, protraction, retraction. We just did it. We did it in the Sphinx posture. So that's shoulder blades squeeze together, shoulder blades push to the sides, shoulder blades squeeze, shoulder blades push. Keep doing this. Chest drop, chest push. Now, if you have injured shoulder injuries, after about 4 or 5 more, your shoulders are going to get tired. We're specifically just working this one plane. This is one of the planes that we use a lot because we really need to create a space in the joint. When we're down here, we're kind of collapsing into the joint. Here, we're pushing open into the joint. We really want our yoga practice to have nice open joints so that the weight bearing is done through the elastic component of the muscle instead of kind of the static stacking of the bones. We definitely want to have alignment, but mainly what we want to have is elastic push. All right, just a couple more. Down and up. So for some of you, your shoulders might be getting tired. Couple more. Now I can make this harder if I go into a plank, and we'll do that in a couple of weeks. Here's our last one. Down and up. All right, so sit back again. It's nice to just have that pillow. I keep turning back and forth, so I'm not going to do that. So put your hands down here, let them shake, and then I want you to just rotate them one way, the other, and then pick them up a bit, move them back down. Because then as you're rotating the wrist and moving the arm, the change of position changes how the nerves and the muscles are and the connective tissue relate through that dynamic three-dimensional space. So this can really help allow the nerves to kind of glide through the tissues. All right, so coming back to here. Now we were in the Sphinx plank, we worked the shoulders a bit, and then we lifted our bellies and held that position. So everything is really the same. Once you learn one technique, you just put that technique into a bunch of other postures. So right now what I want you to do is collapse your shoulders and drop your belly out. I call this the old horse. Because sway back horses are sway back because they lose their abdominal tone, just like people. And so where the biped, the vertical posture is kind of hard on the low back, the quadruped posture, is hard when you lose abdominal tone. Actually, both when you lose abdominal tone, but usually this is a little easier to sustain. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to pull the tailbone towards our face and push it out. Drop it down. And pull it in. And reach it back. So the tailbone goes through the legs and aims for the spine. And then you reach it back. And then what happens if we do this and add the arms, then we go into the cat-cow. So we pull stretch the spine to the ceiling, reach the tailbone, look up, and we pull face towards the tailbone, reach, look up. You can think of this as two circles. Pull, tailbone is trying to touch your head, and tailbone is trying to touch your head through the back. And pull, and inhale, look up, exhale, pull the tailbone, lift the stomach to exhale, and inhale, chest forward, and exhale, and pull, and inhale, and look, and exhale, and pull, and inhale, and one more, and exhale, and pull, and inhale, and look. Now, neutral spine. What's that? Well, it's not dropped and it's not posteriorly tilted. It's just making kind of a nice line. So I'm holding. You can't really see that well because my shirt's dropping. Now, we've been working the actions of the spine. Extension, flexion are the two that we just worked. Now we're going to go into a little twist. So we're going to take our right arm under and put that right shoulder down on the ground. You can push your hips back like I'm doing, and then you can kind of hold on to that hand if you want, or not. Just use it or reach it up. So that right shoulder is coming forward. And you're just going to close your eyes and check in to that twist from the waist to the shoulder, mid-back to the shoulder. Just try to breathe into that lower rib cage. If you feel like you would be better off if you pushed your hand to keep reaching back, that's fine. And then pull yourself up. And then other way. Just pull that left shoulder down. Sink back a bit. Breathe. Come on back up. Now we're just going to go back and forth a couple times. So inhale, exhale, right arm down. Inhale up. Exhale, left arm down. Inhale up. Exhale, right arm down. Inhale up. Exhale. Left arm. Inhale up. Exhale. Right arm. Inhale up. Exhale. Left arm. Inhale up. One more. Exhale. Right arm. Inhale up. Exhale, left arm. Inhale up. And we're going to sit back. forward just a little bit. A lot of people can't sit in this position because of their knees. And again, you have blocks. Hopefully you have a pillow. And then what ends up happening if we practice enough is that this line becomes long enough that we can sit here. Why do we want to do that? Well, we like to have maximum range on our joints. Knees are problematic for a lot of people. So just a gradual work into a full flexion is good for the knees. All right, now, so we've worked the twist. We've worked the flexion and extension. And so we're just going to do a little lateral work just so that we know that that's the last part. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit more, I think, so. Yeah, you can see my arm. Well, you'll be able to see part of my arms. So grab your strap or your rope, and then pull the shoulder blades down and take them up. Take the arms up. And so we're going to lift the shoulders and pull the shoulders back. Elevation and depression. Shoulder blades are sliding up, tops of the shoulders touch your ears, and then shoulder blades go down. So this is the action that we do right before I do the side bends. So just do a couple more. This time, I want you to feel how high can they go, and then pull them back. Take your hands and try to break that rope. So you're going to try to pull the rope apart. So you can see my hands, when I do that, they go back further. So just lift the chest, let those arms go back to where they can go. Keep pushing out. It's a lot of work on the shoulders. That's okay. Couple more big inhales. Chest is reaching. And then just slowly take those arms down. Let everything go. Drop your head. Feel your upper back and roll back up. Just kind of get a read on that. We're going to stretch our neck here in a minute. Next, take that left arm up. And we're just going to reach up and over. Put your right hand down on the ground. And then just extend it. Just extend it. So feel from your left hip through your hand. A couple big inhales into that rib cage. Come up. Go the other way. So what I want you to feel here, because this isn't the best lateral stretch, if we were doing a standing side bends, it'd be a little bit better, but push your shoulder up to your ear and see if you can feel this stretch through the ribs down to the waist. And push the ribs up there. Now, look at yourself and try to feel like you're in a line. This is actually why we're doing it. This is an easy place to really be in a line. There's not a lot of forward or upward twists that you're going to do here with your hand on the floor. So your hand, this is dropping right across from the shoulder, and you're just taking a nice big side stretch. All right. come up. Now, we're going to do the same thing on our hip. And this is a way better stretch. Why would you want to do this? Because we are going to stretch this line, this lateral line. And what I need you to do is stack yourself and make a straight line. So your feet, knees, hips, shoulder, and then collapse here so you feel the collapse. What is this? This is that shoulder going up to the ear. So don't do that. We've just done it. Pull that shoulder blade down. So now you have that shoulder anchored. Now for some of you, you don't feel anything here. Some of you are starting to get a stretch through here. If you don't feel anything, come on up. Keep your shoulder blade pulling down as best as you can. And now you probably feel a stretch from your hip through the waist, maybe to the lower ribs. All right, keep the shoulder down. If you can't hold this position, creep your arm out. But as you look, you see your feet, your knees, your hips, your torso, and your arm in the same line. If you're up here, try to keep that shoulder blade down. And just a couple more breaths through that right waist. This is for your quadratus and your spine. So this is a lateral bend of the spine. This is the third action. But this quadratus muscle gives people a lot of problems. One side can get stuck. So this muscle goes from the back crest of your hip up to the rib. It hikes your hip. Sometimes your hip can get stuck in a hike. And then what happens is, it'll feel like that leg is shorter. You can experiment with that on your own. All right, release this. So we're just going to slide down. Take a couple of breaths here. And then we're just going to roll to the other side. So roll to the other side. I'm going to give you the stacked view from my feet, I think. How about that? My feet have turned into glowing feet. All right, so this is kind of what we're going for. Feet, knees, hip, all in a nice straight line. All right. So we're here first. Pulling my shirt down. I'm acquiring some new yoga clothes because I never ever thought that I would ever do a yoga video. So here we are. Remember, it's not here. Although this can kind of feel good. If you just relax that shoulder and sink into it, you'll feel a nice stretch through the back of that shoulder blade. But we're not getting much of a quadratus stretch here. And we have a little bit of lateral on the spine, but not that much. So press the shoulder down, and then if you need more, you come up. And again, not here, shoulder blade down. Keep yourself in a nice long line. Focus on that space right above your hip. Breathe. Couple more. Maybe up another inch. Last one. Big inhale. And then we're going to slide out. Just breathe there a minute. Feel your hip. Relax the waist. Let your legs go. And then roll back. so we worked a lot on this upward pull of the stomach, because that is going to be what's going to save us from a lot of things. All right. So now I'm going to change my camera angle, and I'm going to show you my couch. So there's my couch. Maybe I need to move this back so you don't just see my mouth. Can I unplug this, James? There we go. All right. So I like using the furniture. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use this to stretch our quads a little bit more. One more time, I think, on this. So I want you to sit up against your couch on your heels. Now, if you can't sit on your heels, then get your block or a pillow. The other thing that you can do is you can roll up a towel and you can put that between your calf and your thigh. Any of those will work. They all take some of the bend out of the leg. All right, so if you've been in my classes, I like to work that reclining hero. We work it on bolsters. Sometimes some of us are up pretty high on those bolsters. Good news, this couch is right here and it's a pretty high bolster. So what we're going to do is we're going to just lean back onto the couch. Put your elbows here. Now, you got to take your tailbone and reach it towards your knees. Reach your tailbone towards your knees. So we worked on that. It's right there for you. Then lean back as far as you can. Head back. If that's not good, grab your pillow and put your head here. All right, now our quads are stretching because we're taking our tailbone and pushing it towards our knees. And you'll notice that that takes all the pressure out of the low back. Now I want you to just drop your tailbone down. And as you do that, some of you are starting to feel a pull in your low back. That pull in the low back is your hip flexor. So we're going to go kind of back, you're going to go back and forth between pushing the tailbone towards your knees and then letting your tailbone go back down. All the while you're laying on this couch. Now for some of us, this is too high of a surface to actually work our hero, because we have the hero. So those of you that are in that boat, just lay back, let your arms open your chest up, take your tailbone, reach your tailbone towards your knees, and then drop it down and keep going. Tuck under and drop it down. Just work it a little bit. Everybody else that is kind of struggling, just lay here in either position. If you're okay sitting on your heels because you have no strain in the back, do that. If your tailbone helps that low back, push your tailbone towards your knees. Couple more just big inhales here. Put your elbows down, tuck your chin, and push to vertical. to sitting. Now we're going to go past that. Tuck your toes. Push into your feet and sit back. Let the toes stretch. You can see my toes here, tucking under. All right, now what we're going to do is turn around and do this. I'm going to change I have a little curve on this couch. It's the coolest couch. So we're going to tuck our toes under. You put your elbows on your couch. Lean forward and push your heels to the ground. So we're in a sneaky forward bend. You could come up here if that's too much, or you could be down here. All right, now we're not going to stay here that long, because now we're going to bend, control the descent, knees down, sit back, shift forward, lift your stomach, push his sit bones up, use your arms on the couch, heels. Now, if you're weak in your quads, shift more weight onto your arms. Sit back. You can use a lot of arm work to help you do this. Pitch forward, then shift. There's not a lot of weight on your legs. Shift back. Bend the knees. Come down. If you have a lot of strength, just go from here. Straight up. And come down. Or like I said, shift the weight forward, keep the weight here, push. And this time we're going to stay here. So what we've done really is we've allowed the range of motion through the ankles and knees and hips without having to deal with the whole weight of the body. That's one of the problems with body weight exercises. You have to find ways to reduce the load, and it's not very useful to cut off parts of you to make yourself lighter. So what you have to do is figure out how to use angle and shift and prop. All right, now just from here, I'm going to come up, walk ourselves in, and turn around. Sit on the edge. Now, if you've been in my classes, you know that I talk about squats all the time. I think everyone should squat every day. And if we lived in India, we would be squatting a lot more. So again, the couch can really help. You can also take a pillow and put it right here. So our feet are open a little bit more than hip width. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide off of the couch and we're going to go onto that pillow. So now we're going to squat. You might need more than one pillow. Here's what I like about this. We have flexion in the joints. You can kind of lean forward. You got into this position by negotiating the weight with your arms. And if you can't do a squat, this is a great place to start. So we're just going to stay here for a couple more breaths. And again, with all of this, I mean, everything is imprecise. But even when we use blocks, it's imprecise because we don't have blocks built to the specifications of our body proportions. So we really have to play around with things to make them work for us. So here you might be sitting on pillow, block, or nothing. All right, so to come up and out of this, we're going to use a little tricep which is good. So you can put your hands back here. You don't have to, but push down, slide your butt back onto the couch. Let's do that again. This time, you know, if you tried the pillow on one, maybe don't use the pillow on this one. So, creep the feet in, slide your butt off, keep your knees open. I need to keep my knees open. And then start sliding down. Lean against that couch. Just lean back. Relax into your joints. Keep feeling your pelvis. Push forward into your thighs. So, why am I using the couch? Well, you've been on the couch, I'm sure. You're at home, you're working, you get tired, why not squat? Why not squat? Why not use every opportunity that you have getting off the couch to try to keep your body moving in these different ways? It'll keep you from developing, you know, a lot of the painful low back position or conditions that the couch sitting can give you, and then also the whole upper back. So now we're going to lean back, walk our feet out, stretch your arms long, and we're going to slide by rocking side to side down. Now this is a great massage. Why I'm rocking is because I'm allowing the edge of the couch to hit one side of the erector muscles of my spine and then the other, and then one side and then the other. And you know, for us who use massage on a regular basis to help us live, that's not an option until probably May if we're lucky. So this helps if your neck is starting to feel, you know, strained because your chin is going up. Interlace your fingers, put it behind your head, and then just sit bones down. So we're in this nice upper back arch. Our chest is lifted. So we went right from that squat into this slide. And we're going to do it one more time. So you can tuck your tailbone under, push up, and then use your quads and slide yourself back. And we're going to do it one more time. Let your pelvis rock. Feel the weight of the sit bones pulling you down. Pulling you down. Feels really good through those thick lumbar extensors. And then also you'll hit your quadratus that we stretched. Keep going. Let your head drop back. When that becomes uncomfortable, put your hands behind. Sit bones hit the ground. You can either be here holding your head, or you can be here. If you're here, interlace your fingers, palms away, and just breathe. Release your arms. Pick your head up. Stay right where you are. Slide back. Put the soles of your feet together and pull the legs into a tailor sit. Now, if this is not comfortable, slide it out. If it's comfortable, just keep it there. Now, while we're here, Your feet are in as close as you can take it. You might put your pillows underneath your knees or not. Now, I'm going to do this from this position. Actually, no, I'm going to change, but I want you to do these neck stretches from right here. So put your low back against your chair or your couch. If you don't have anything, you can just be sitting. So either you're going to be here in this nice open tailor sit, or you're going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to do this so I can face you. Sit on a pillow. Light is starting to become, it's beautiful. It's really bad from the camera. So just sit here. All right, nice and straight. Take your right arm over, put your middle finger in your ear, and then pull that right ear to your shoulder. Keep that left shoulder pressing down. You can hold the back of your thigh or just, keep that blade going down. So we work today elevation, depression, protraction, retraction. So now we're pulling that shoulder blade down, depression. Now try to get that stretch from the back of your ear down to the tip of your shoulder. So we're going to breathe and take your jaw, push the right side of the jaw up to the left side, and then feel that go up to the ceiling. Trying to rotate your head on the top of your neck. And then keep your head on this angle. Just rotate your nose till it's facing your thigh. Slide your hand back. Grab the back of your skull and now pull down on this angle. Try to find the line from the back left of your head, the occiput, down to the inside of that left shoulder blade. How many people, James?
Yeah, 16.
Now go over a little bit more. Just let your upper back go. Let go. Roll up. Come center. Other side. Up and over. Middle finger in your ear. Pull. Left ear down to your shoulder. Jaw goes up. Breathe. Now rotate your nose towards your left thigh. Grab the back of your skull and pull down on this angle. Keep your shoulder blade pressing down. Use the release of the exhale to keep letting things go. Release. Roll up. Face forward. Okay. So we've done the actions of the spine. We've done a couple pretty fun couch exercises, some neck stretching, and then the technical point that we really worked on is this upward lift to support the back. You'll hear that constantly in this class, actually in all my classes, because the last thing that you want to do when you're trying to do therapeutic work is hurt yourself. All right, so we have this couch here, so we're going to throw our legs up and lay back. Take your glasses off and rest. And just so you know, just this very simple position of laying flat on your back on a hard surface decompresses your spine. Because now what's happening? I'm in a straight line. Don't forget that. Sometimes it's the most simple things that help. Take a big inhale, stretch through your arms and your legs, and then pull your legs off the couch, roll to your right side. And press yourself up. All right, so that's it for week 2, Yoga in Exile. All right, this is the Walnut Lodge Foundations class. Sorry. Namaste.